Have you ever faced a life-changing decision? Those are the moments when your heart clashes with your mind, when every perfectly imagined plan is overtaken by something bigger, something you never expected. Olivia Carter thought her wedding day would be the happiest day of her life. A day meticulously planned down to every detail, from the gorgeous gown to the carefully chosen flowers. But in a single moment, everything she believed in changed. A glance, a deep breath, a strange feeling she couldn't ignore. That's when Olivia was faced with the most important question of all. When you have to choose between love and duty, which would you choose? With everyone waiting for her at the altar, with dreams on the line, Olivia had to make a decision that perhaps no one would understand. What held her back? What could be more important than her wedding day? Olivia's journey isn't just about love. It's about loyalty, sacrifice, and discovering what truly matters in life. A heartwarming story that makes us wonder, are there moments in life we need to feel more than see? So, where did you find this story? Did a friend share it with you? Or did you stumble upon it yourself? Leave a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe, because tomorrow we'll bring you a special story, one that might just change the way you see life forever. Olivia Carter stood in front of the full-length mirror in her childhood bedroom in Charleston, South Carolina. She took a deep breath, trying to memorize every detail of the moment. The pure white wedding dress that hugged her curves to perfection. The golden curls that fell loosely around her shoulders, and the blue eyes that sparkled with happiness and excitement. Everything was exactly as she had dreamed for the 2 years she had spent planning this big day. But there was one thing that made her heart sink. Cooper, her beloved golden retriever, her companion of the past 10 years, lay motionless at her feet, his eyes filled with emotion. Normally, Cooper would be thrilled to see Olivia in a beautiful dress, but today he was silent, his soft brown eyes fixed on her, filled with an indescribable sadness. "Cooper, are you okay?" Olivia whispered, gently stroking his silky golden fur. But Cooper did not wag his tail as usual. It just sighed, its ears flat, as if trying to tell her something. Since childhood, Olivia had always believed Cooper had a special sense, an invisible connection to her. He had been there for her through the long, tearful nights when she lost her father, sat quietly by her side when she was stressed about work, and was the first friend who made her smile after her painful breakup. Cooper was more than just a dog. He was family, a wordless confidant. When Olivia walked down the stairs, her mother, Margaret, was waiting, her face bright and busy. "Honey, the makeup artist is waiting. Ethan texted to see how you were. Are you ready to start your new life?" Olivia smiled, but her heart ached as she looked down at Cooper, who was now walking slowly behind her, his feet heavier than ever. "Yes, I am," she answered, but her heart was full of doubt. Too street. Mary's. Cooper kept his eyes on Olivia, pressed close to her leg in the limousine. He rested his head on her lap, a gesture he only did when Olivia was sad or in need of comfort. She gently stroked his soft fur, feeling his breathing heavier and slower than usual. "Does he seem okay?" Emily, her maid of honor, asked softly, her eyes filled with concern. "He's probably just nervous," Olivia replied, but an unnamed unease rose inside her. When they arrived at the church, the ancient space was filled with bright golden autumn sunlight. The photographer began asking Olivia to pose near an old mossy oak tree, the place she had dreamed of taking wedding photos since she was a child. But at that moment, Cooper suddenly jumped up, running to block her way, his eyes worried and pleading. "Cooper, go somewhere else." Olivia chuckled, trying to pull him away, but Cooper stood firm. His eyes were brimming with tears, and his breathing was rapid. A chill ran down her spine. "He probably needs a walk," Emily said. But Olivia shook her head. She knew Cooper better than anyone. Something was wrong. She knelt, looking into those loyal eyes, and suddenly realized his breathing was getting faster and his legs were shaking slightly. A strange feeling rose in Olivia's gut, as if Cooper was trying to tell her something important, that something was wrong, that their time together might be running out. And that was when Olivia understood that sometimes true love isn't about the lavish dreams you've planned, but the simple, priceless moments, like the way Cooper was looking at her now, begging her to stop and listen. Have you ever had a moment when your intuition told you something was wrong? What would you do if you had to choose between your dream and your best friend? Olivia knelt, her trembling hands running through Cooper's soft fur. His sincere brown eyes looked at her, as if he was trying to say something she couldn't quite understand. A chill ran down Olivia's spine. "I can't go on like this," she muttered, worry rising in her voice. Despite the urgings of her mother and the photographer, Olivia decided to do what her heart told her. "I can't go on with the photo shoot. I need to take Cooper to the vet," she said firmly, her voice laced with concern. She looked at her mother, waiting for her mother to object, but instead, Margaret just sighed and nodded slightly. On the way to the vet, Olivia held Cooper close to her. His breathing became heavier, his heartbeat so rapid that she could feel it in her palm. 100 thoughts raced through her head. Had she been so caught up in the wedding that she had forgotten about Cooper? Was she losing the most precious thing for one big day? Dr. Thomas Peterson, who had cared for Cooper since he was a baby, entered the examination room with a serious expression. "Olivia, we need to check him right away." Time seemed to stop as Olivia sat there, clutching her white veil, fear creeping into her every breath. When the doctor returned with the results, his eyes were gentle but understanding. "Olivia, I'm afraid Cooper is in the final stages of heart failure. Recent signs suggest he's been fighting this for a long time, but now he doesn't have much time left." The doctor's words were like a knife piercing Olivia's heart. She choked up, looking at Cooper, who was looking up at her with eyes still full of love, as if he was comforting her, not the other way around. "It can't be. He's still very healthy," Olivia whispered, tears starting to roll down her cheeks. "Sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle that we don't notice the little signs," Dr. Peterson said softly. "Maybe the stress of the wedding made it worse." Olivia felt like everything was falling apart. The dream wedding day, the perfect plans, all of it suddenly faded away. There was only one question on her mind. What would the big day mean without the friend who had always been there for her? Just then, the door to the clinic burst open, and Ethan rushed in, still in his tuxedo, but with a face full of concern. "I heard... Are you okay?" Olivia threw herself into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Ethan stroked her hair gently and looked down at Cooper with gentle eyes. "We can postpone the wedding," Ethan said firmly. "We can't leave Cooper here alone on the most important day of his life." Olivia looked up at him, her heart filled with gratitude and love. But everyone's waiting for us at the church. Ethan smiled, his eyes filled with determination. Then we'll get married here, right now, where Cooper can be a part of the moment. At that moment, Olivia understood that true love isn't about the flowers, the cake, or hundreds of guests. Love is about the people who matter most, being there for each other in the moments that matter most. Have you ever been faced with a difficult decision where your heart tells you one way, but your mind tells you another? And do you have the courage to choose what you know is right, even when it's not part of the plan? Olivia took a deep breath, looked into Cooper's loyal eyes, and then turned to Ethan. "Okay," she said, her voice trembling but determined. "Let's have the wedding right here." That afternoon, in a small room in the veterinary clinic, amid the smell of antiseptic and soft yellow lights, Olivia and Ethan exchanged the most sacred vows of their lives. There was no melodious music, no hundreds of eyes watching, only those who loved them truly, their parents, their best friends, and their most loyal friend, Cooper. Although Olivia's wedding dress was wrinkled and her makeup was smudged from tears, she had never felt so beautiful and happy. Ethan held her hand tightly, his voice warm but firm. "I promise to love you, cherish you, and love Cooper with you until the end." Cooper lay at their feet, breathing weakly, but still looking with trusting eyes at the two people he loved most. As the priest read the final vows, Cooper wagged his tail gently, like a silent blessing. The small room fell silent in that sacred moment. Olivia knew that even though it wasn't planned, it was the most perfect wedding she could have ever dreamed of. The months that followed were filled with precious moments that Olivia and Ethan would never forget. They decided to put aside their busy schedules and devote all their time to Cooper. They took him to their favorite park, where Cooper used to run around tirelessly among the colorful trees. Now, Cooper's steps were slower, but each step together was more precious than ever. Ethan carefully supported Cooper when he wanted to climb onto the familiar bench where Olivia used to read every afternoon. Sitting side by side, they watched the sunset slowly fall, the sky changing from golden to deep purple, like a gentle silk carpet. In the twilight, Olivia quietly wondered, what is life, if not moments with the people you love? We often get so caught up in chasing big things that we forget that true happiness lies in the simplest moments. She and Ethan also took Cooper to Charleston Beach, where the waves sang an eternal song. Cooper, though frail, loved the feel of soft sand under his feet and the salty sea breeze. Olivia laughed as Cooper, though slow, tried to chase seagulls, just like he used to do when he was a lively little dog. At night, Cooper could no longer jump into bed like he used to. Instead, Olivia and Ethan placed a small bed right next to him so they could touch him whenever they woke up. During the long nights, Olivia would wake up to hear Cooper panting, sometimes panting, trying to overcome the pain. Ethan would gently soothe him, and Olivia would whisper stories that Cooper had heard 1,000 times but never got tired of. Then one day, Cooper began to eat less and sleep more, and his loyal eyes seemed to carry an undisguised weariness. Olivia saw it, and her heart clenched. She knew that the moment she feared most was approaching. On a quiet spring evening, as the brilliant sunset tinged the sky pink, Cooper laid his head heavily on Olivia's leg, closing his eyes. Ethan held her hand, not needing to say a word, because they both knew that this was Cooper's last moment with them. Tears fell down Olivia's face as she stroked Cooper's soft, gray fur. "You've always been a great friend," she whispered. "You were there for me when I needed you most, and I will never forget that." Cooper let out a soft moan, as if to say that he felt Olivia's boundless love for him too. Then, in her warm embrace, with a familiar voice soothing her ear, Cooper let out a final sigh and drifted off into eternal sleep. Olivia held Cooper tightly in her arms, tears streaming down her face, but they were tears of love, gratitude, and memories that could never be erased. She understood that Cooper had been more than just a dog. He was a part of her soul, a testament to unconditional love and everlasting loyalty. Have you ever lost a dear friend? Someone you believed would always be there for you? And did you cherish every moment together so you never had any regrets? Ethan gently placed a kiss on her forehead, whispering, "We did everything we could, baby." And Cooper knew he was loved. Under the starry night sky, Olivia looked up, silently thanking Cooper for teaching her the most important thing in life. True love has no conditions, and that love will always live in her heart. In the days after Cooper left, Olivia and Ethan's house felt strangely empty. No more footsteps clacking across the wooden floors, no more happy barks when they returned home, and no more loving brown eyes following their every move. Every corner of the house bore Cooper's mark, and his absence felt like a void that could not be filled. But Olivia knew that the love Cooper left behind was not sadness, but a reminder that love should not stop when someone is gone, but should continue and be given. One sunny morning, while sitting on a wooden bench in the park that Cooper used to love, Olivia suddenly spoke. "We've let our hearts rest long enough, Ethan. It's time to open them again." Ethan looked at her, his eyes gentle and sympathetic. "What are you thinking about?" "I think we should go to the Savannah Haven Rescue Center," Olivia said, a weak but determined smile on her face. "We can't replace Cooper, but there are so many other dogs out there who need love." The rescue center was filled with the happy barks and expectant eyes of dogs of all sizes. But as soon as she entered, Olivia was drawn to a small corner where an elderly Labrador retriever with a dark brown coat was quietly looking out the window. The shelter staff approached, a little apologetically. "His name is Bailey. He's 10 years old, and not many people want to adopt him anymore. Most people go for smaller, more active dogs." Olivia sat down, gently placing her hand on Bailey's rough fur. The dog turned to look at her, his brown eyes sad, but strangely warm. At that moment, she knew she had found a new friend, not to replace Cooper, but to continue the journey of love Cooper had taught her. "He's perfect," Olivia said softly, looking up at Ethan, who just nodded with a smile of approval. Bailey entered their lives like a new miracle. Though not as agile as Cooper, Bailey's days were a lesson in gratitude and patience. They took walks together on Charleston Beach, where Bailey loved to lie quietly on the sand and watch the waves. Ethan often joked that Bailey wasn't a playful dog, but a philosopher contemplating life. Every year on their anniversary, Olivia and Ethan returned to the Savannah Haven Rescue Center, not only to remember Cooper, but also to help other dogs waiting for a home. They donate food, help renovate kennels, and sometimes simply sit down with lonely old dogs and give them some love. In Olivia's heart, Cooper was always there, not as a loss, but as a legacy of love that they could continue to give. She looked at Bailey, then at Ethan, feeling her heart warm more than ever. True love is not about the time we have together, but how we continue to spread it. even when the people we love are no longer around. Have you ever thought that love never ends, but only changes form? And are you willing to open your heart to give, knowing that it will also come with moments of separation? Olivia whispered to Bailey, "Welcome to the family." And in the gentle twilight, she could feel that somewhere Cooper was still watching them, wagging his tail contentedly. You see, love is not measured by the years we spend together, but by how we enjoy each moment, by how fully present we are in each other's lives. The stories of Olivia, Ethan, and Cooper are a profound reminder that sometimes the best plans don't come from the ones we have planned, but from the unexpected, the heartfelt, and the choices that come from the heart. We often get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, racing toward distant goals and forgetting the value of the present. But remember, true happiness lies in the simplest moments: a peaceful afternoon with a loved one, a gentle touch, or simply a loving look from a loyal four-legged friend. And now, we have a favor to ask of you. Please like if this story has touched your heart. Share to spread the message of love and loyalty to your loved ones. And don't forget to comment an inspirational quote from your own experience. Who is the most loyal friend in your life? What makes you appreciate them more each day? Let's continue this journey together. Don't leave now, because there are many more stories to come. Stories that will make you smile, cry, and find yourself in every moment. Click subscribe to not miss out.